Co-founder match is terrible. Is there a better way to find a co-founder? So there's co-founder matching websites? Is that what that is?
I'm guessing.
Let's see. I've been searching for this is from Igor Bilogubov. Igor Bilogubov. There we go. I've been searching for a technical co-founder for 6 months using YC's platform. Despite having a clear MVP vision and talking to 15 plus potential matches, I can't find someone with the right technical background who's ready for a serious commitment. Most either want to pursue their own ideas or suggest unreasonable equity splits. Has anyone found success with other platforms or methods? Looking for recommendations. All right, well.
So just...
good.
Do you know what YC is?
Mm-mm.
I had to think about it for a second.
Okay.
It is, you've heard of Y Combinator?
Yeah. Right. Is that what it is? Oh, okay. That's definitely Bing brought a picture.
Yeah, I just looked it up, and they actually have something called co-founder matching. So, interesting. I didn't know
Very
they had
interesting. Never heard of that. All right, so let's talk about co-founders. Okay.
Partners in general.
Partners in general.
Yes.
Don't do it. No, I'm kidding. Just totally joking. But I do tell my clients this when they come in, say, hey, we're forming a corporation or LLC, whatever, and we're going to be partners. And I'm like, I basically go through the sermon. You are getting married is what you're doing. You are getting married. You will be closer with this person than anyone else in your life, except for the person you actually marry if you get married ever, right? You are, there's no other way to put it. You guys are tied together legally in this business. There's no just walking away. There's no, I don't want you anymore. There's none of that stuff. So if you're going to get a co-founder, you have to, or a partner, you have to make sure it's someone that you really, really want to essentially, use the term, be in bed with, because that's what it's going to be. That person will be able, especially if you have a 50-50 interest, that person will be able to tell you what you can and can't do, just like you can tell them what they can and can't do, because you'll be able to veto each other. You better make sure you have the same vision plan. You have to make sure that you both have the same idea for not just where you want the company to go, but what most people don't think about is what happens when the company fails, right? They don't think about that. Nope. Just like no one thinks about what happens when the marriage fails, right? No one wants to sign the prenup.
Nope.
Oh, prenup, no. So it's the same thing here. You got to make sure you have those things in order. But as far as finding the co-founder, personally, I'm not a fan of the co-founder searching websites. How am I going to just... Well, okay, hold on. Let me back up.
Wait, are you not a fan of dating websites?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just like a dating website then, right?
But the chances of finding someone on those
sites... That you're going to marry.
Yeah, but you have to remember, what is the average time someone spends on a dating website before finding someone, and do they find them on a dating website?
But there's a difference between a dating website and this, right? Because on the dating website, it could just be a quick hookup. It could be someone, hey, I'm curious who this person is.
Right.
But you're talking about a co-founder of the business. So it's like, instead of calling it a dating website, it's a marriage-making website. I would never do that. I would never go on a website to find someone who I'm going to marry. Right? Meaning that looking for the person to marry on a website. If I'm looking for a date and we get together and it works out and we wind up getting married, totally different story.
But isn't that, if you are searching for a co-founder, that's kind of what you have to do though. You're not looking for a date. You're not looking for the person who you want to, start talking to on a casual level and build up a relationship over time. But shouldn't you, if you're looking for a business partner, shouldn't that be the way you do it? Because you need to get to know the person pretty well before you say, hey.
Oh, I agree. I completely agree.
We're going to get married legally here, right?
That's exactly what it is.
Right. We're going to own this thing together.
Right.
And we're going to have to agree for the next 10, 20, 30 years, however long you're going to operate the business, that we are going to be coherent enough.
Right.
And we don't want to think of all the things that can go wrong. We don't want to think of how to resolve disputes,
right?
Because we're all happy right now.
Everyone's happy.
But that's kind of like what I say. It's kind of like a dating thing.
But here's the difference.
Yeah.
When I'm looking for, so I'm married now, of course. But if I were single and I was looking to date someone, I'm not necessarily looking to marry that person, and that relationship builds over a period of years.
Yeah.
I don't know that this person has years to find the co-founder.
Probably not.
Right. The co-founder type thing is usually the kind of thing where I'm ready to get into business now. I have the idea, I have the equity, I have this, I have that. Now we need the partner.
Right.
Right? Which you kind of put the cart before the horse there, but still, I don't know that they have time to cultivate that relationship.
It's kind of funny though, because like my cousin called me for dating advice. Mm-hmm. She's 23. The dating advice I give her is, take it slow. You're not in a rush, get to know the person. My brother-in-law, who's 39, calls me with dating advice, and I go, move in with him.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you are out of time.
Yep.
You don't, like, if you want to know if this works or not, just move in with him tomorrow. Like, I know you only started dating like 3 months ago, but it's easy to move back out. But that's the fastest way, whether you're going to realize whether or not you actually are going to fit with this person. When you're young, you have plenty of time. Right? When you get older, that luxury isn't quite the same anymore.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of the same with this. When you are young, you have plenty of time to go out there and develop relationships. Go to networking events. Yep. Go to your chambers. Go on, meetup.com. They have all kinds of... Right. Great. They have all kinds of people that are getting together, like entrepreneur meetups and all kinds of things. So I think that is really the way to go, is see if you can find someone locally through like personal networking. Because you may be talking to someone and they may not be a good fit, but they know a guy that's also looking for someone, right? Like, hey, let me set you up on a blind date, right? Yeah, right. But it's true. You get that feel for people when you are in the same room as them. But when I'm reading a profile, it's a profile, right? You and I both know that you can write something to sound like you're really, really fantastic at something. And then when you actually have the person do it, you're like, what? Like, none of this actually matches what is in real life, right?
Yeah. So so I guess that's one way to identify a co-founder is through some type of matching service or whatever. I think the better way to do it is the networking events, right? Go meeting people introducing you, et cetera, et cetera. But again, you have to remember that this is something you're going to be locked into with this person, right? Are you real? So the question really need to ask is: are you really looking for a co-founder, or are you looking, in this case, technical, somebody who's technically inclined who can do a service to get something done that you could pay to do instead?
So, my theory with this type of stuff is, if someone is out there looking for a co-founder, it's because they're broke.
Yeah, they don't have the money to do it.
They don't have the money to do it. Right. So they're looking for a co-founder.
Right.
One is going to provide the idea and hopefully something else, and the other one is supposed to provide the technical expertise. Right. So,
which brings me to my next point, but go ahead.
And I'm like, you should not, if it's just a matter of money, if it's just a matter of can I hire someone or not, that is not a good enough reason to go look for someone to marry.
Right.
Like, I can't afford this house by myself. Oh, but if I go marry someone and we have two incomes, then I can afford the house. Right. Like, it makes no sense. But that's essentially what this guy is saying, is just because you want the house, you're going to go marry some random person that you met off of a dating website in a couple of months, just so you can buy the house.
So let's extract that a little further, right? Extrapolate that a little further. So take that analogy, but now the person who wants to buy the house but can't doesn't even have the money to buy the house. They want to get that partner to buy the house, but they still want to split it 50-50 because they feel like, well, I found the house, so I'm entitled to 50%. And this is where the fallacy comes when it comes to co-founders. And this guy even said it in his post here that the person was an unreasonable equity split. Well, from what I'm reading, and please, I apologize. Was it Boris? Oh, Igor. I apologize if I'm wrong here. But what are you bringing to the table? The idea? It's worthless. Means nothing. If I were to get involved as a technical guy myself, if I were to get involved in another company or an equity split for a co-founder situation, and all that person had was an idea, I would want 90% of that because I'm doing all the work. I'm doing all the work and I'm going to just give it to you?
100%.
What are you doing?
If
I had the idea. It's my company. And what's it worth? Zero. It's worth nothing right now.
Right. And I've seen partnerships like this where one is the idea, sales, marketing. They're the ones that drive it. We had this conversation, right?
Totally cool with that. I'm good with that.
And then you have the back end guy, so to speak, that's
who are making it,
Correct.
That I'm okay with.
Yeah,
right.
It's like the basement waterproofing guys, right? It used to be a partnership. One of them got sick and had to back out, but they were literally a team. As one of the guys was the sales guy, like he was out there and he could sell anything anywhere when it came to this stuff. But the other partner was the one that then actually went in with the team and did the work afterwards, right? Which in that case is a phenomenal partnership because now there's always an owner on the project, right? It's not the owner that sold it to you, but it's the other owner that is the one guaranteeing the work as well.
So you're talking about a service platform or a service-based company, right?
Correct.
Which is fine. But let's talk about a company, again, from a technical side, something that has to be built. Well, the guy who's building it's going to be working on it for 6 months to a year before that person has to go out and sell anything.
Yep.
Right? Yeah, they're going to want a bigger equity split.
Yeah.
Or at least some type of guarantee that if things go wrong, they get to keep the software or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. Because they can't just give you those hours and that time for nothing.
Right.
So yeah, expect an equity split unless you're putting up capital or you're putting in just as much time as that person is. I don't care if it's once it's built, I'll be out there paved. How do we know? How do we know you're going to do that?
Then build the contract that way.
Right.
If you're looking for a co-founder,
exactly.
That's technical. Say, okay, perfect. So you're going to be doing all the upfront work. So initially you're going to get 70%. I'm going to get 30, right? Once I make the sales and we hit our first million,
beautiful.
I get the other 20% and we're now 50-50 partners, whatever it is, right? Like it has to be structured in a way where it makes sense for the person taking the most risk initially, and then the other person has to deliver as well, right? And the danger is both ways though, because you could have a technical co-founder that can't actually deliver the tangible product, right? So now you're screwed as a minority with a guy that can't actually deliver what they said they could deliver. So this is a very, very tricky thing, I think, to kind of negotiate. But you have to approach it from value year 1, value year 2, value year 3, and ownership can change over time, right? Like nobody says, just because you own 50% now means you're going to own 50% in the future. Right. So yeah.
And then another way to do it, if you don't go the co-founder route, if you don't have much capital, you have to have some capital at least. Put some capital into it, pay the person a little bit, but then compensate them with shares, phantom stock or something like that. Right. Which now now they have an interest in the success of the company other than getting a paycheck, because not only are they getting paid, again, it might be 10% of what they should be getting paid, but now they're also they have an equity investment in the company and want to see it succeed because now their shares and value is going to be worth more.
Yes. So 2 things. Apparently it's now becoming more common that, and I'm saying this as a warning to people that have been offered this, is that they're with startups and tech companies, they get offered these shares. But then when the company actually sells, they don't sell the entire company. They do an asset only.
Oh yeah. Not just purchase, asset purchase, right?
Which means that you with Go shares get nothing. Right.
You have to work that into your agreement.
Correct.
Yeah.
I just want to give that in case anybody's listening, no, that is also a tactic that companies use to get you basically to come in to a startup.
For free.
Work for free or very low wages, and they're not going to deliver on it. So be careful when you get that offer, right? If it doesn't specify that it's any sale, whether it's asset only, like if it's an asset only, you still get some. Right. But
Simpsons did a great spoof on that years ago. Bart became part of a startup, a tech company, and he walks in and they're all they're playing foosball and video games and skateboarding around, and everyone's being paid in stock. And it's like, here, have some stock. Here, have some stock. And he goes into the bathroom. The toilet paper is just stock certificates. That's so great.
Yeah,
so funny.
But I think what it boils down to with this is, it's unrealistic expectations and lack of understanding of what co-founders or co-owners actually do.
Yeah.
Right? Like we've seen, Google, for crying out loud, were 2 guys that sat together in a basement or a garage with computers,
Yep.
and they were working side by side doing it, right? Like that is a co-founder between the two of them that made sense.
Yep.
There's a reason Jeff Bezos didn't really have co-founders.
Yeah.
Right? He just hired people to do what he wasn't able to do because he had the money to do it.
Yep.
But getting a co-founder just because you lack the ability to do something is the least, how do I say this nicely? I'll say it not nicely. Finding a co-founder because you can't do something is literally stupid.
Yeah.
Right? Like then work something else, figure something else out, and earn money and give that money to someone else to do what you can't do.
Exactly.
Period.
Yeah.
But
and because I'll finish this with, if you want to say something afterwards, by all means, but I'll finish with this. Just because you believe in your idea doesn't mean other people have to.
Mm-hmm.
And so asking somebody to believe in your idea and to put their blood, sweat, and tears into a product or a service that they might not believe in with the expectations that you have, that's unrealistic. It really is.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason all of you are on a co-founder website. You all have some kind of vision, right? Like, I'm just saying.
So, all right. So,
it's like
Igor, good luck to you. It's just be careful, man. Just be real careful.
It's like going into a bar in downtown Philly and going, oh my God, there's nothing but Eagles fans here.
Yeah. Right.
Like, you'd be like, well, yeah.
What did you expect?
Right.
All right. Let's see.
If you found this clip interesting, make sure to go listen to the full podcast. There's lots more content there.